Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Steve Shanley, among many other titles, director of the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band, and it's here.
It's here, finally. Although we got a little bit of a head start this year. We did get to play a couple weeks ago at the state band conference. So It doesn't quite feel, usually this week feels like, oh, finally. And I kind of got to have that experience a few weeks ago.
So how was that performing in front of, so it's the Iowa Bandmasters Association. It's pretty much every band person, band teacher in Iowa and even surrounding states too. Many of your members, I'm sure, were going to be there already. But what was that like performing in front of a couple of hundred band directors?
It was great. And it was actually, I think, close to about 500
really?
were
Wow.
there. Yeah, it was packed. And, I told the band we're going to go with a little bit of a more challenging program than we might otherwise, because this is the audience that will really appreciate the degree of difficulty on everything that we're going to do. And they did. We actually got a standing ovation in the middle of the concert after we performed the Star Wars Episode 4 main title.
Oh, wow.
Like they recognized how hard that was and just like leapt to their feet afterwards. It helps that the music is super awesome and makes you want to jump to your feet too.
Who doesn't want to stand up at the end?
But it was a good time. And for those of you who are worried that you missed out on it, we will use pretty much everything we played at that concert throughout this summer as well. So everyone will get to hear it. The citizens of Cedar Rapids and the surrounding areas can still hear everything from that performance.
So that was Municipal Band Week 0. This is week 1.
Week 0, I like it. Yes, we're on to week 1 now. So opening up on Wednesday, June 3rd at the History Center and Sunday, June 9th at Beaver Park. And our concerts always start at 7:30. And this week and a few other weeks, we are going to feature a prelude concert that we use to highlight most often students or young students, or in the case of the New Horizons Band, older students, experienced students. But this week we're featuring the Cedar Rapids Metro Youth Wind Ensemble, and Jared Wacker and Kelly Suela doing a great job of assembling that group this year. So they will perform on June 9th at Beaver Park at about 6:30. So we encourage you to show up at 6:30 on June 9th, enjoy the Metro Youth Wind Ensemble, and then stick around for our performance at 7:30.
All right. And then what's on the program?
This week, we feature my old friend and mentor, David Lang, who has been playing in the band now the last couple of years, virtuoso euphonium player. And a lot of my friends and I have mentioned that he is sort of the model for how we want to retire. So he retired from full-time band directing a few years ago and was already pretty darn good at the euphonium, even as a practicing band director. One of those guys we've talked about before. He has those. He does not have band director chops. He could not touch the instrument for a few months and still sound fine on it, much like Rich Med and a few other people that I love to hate. But he just doubled down, and it kind of lined up also with the pandemic. So if you haven't checked out his YouTube site, there are all sorts of videos of him playing the alphorn, him playing euphonium multiple times, multi-tracking, and then we're going to feature him this week on a really lovely piece by Bert Appermont. It's very Britishy sounding and beautiful for the first half, virtuosic for the second half, so perfect for David. Excited to feature him on that. Digging through the online publishing archives last year, came across a piece I had not discovered called 80s Flashback, arranged by Paul Murtha, and I'm thinking, how had I not discovered this one before? So
concert band arrangements of 80s pop hits?
80s pop hits, and
okay.
and that might have been one of those things that perhaps earlier in my career with the municipal band, I would have thought, like, well, that isn't going to hit our target audience, and
you might have turned up your nose a little bit at that.
That and also like, well, we need to really for that audience be finding 50s, 1960s, that kind of stuff. And then it has sort of occurred to me, like, nope, that's kind of our target audience now, are people who were listening to the radio in the 1980s. So they're going to recognize Thriller and Time After Time and Let Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong.
Guess what,
so
Steve? The 80s were 40 years ago.
I know, yeah. Disappointing to think of it in terms of that way from my longevity standpoint, but some good music that we get an opportunity to bring to the the people of Cedar Rapids with that. So 80s flashback, and then in a long string of what has sort of become a tradition, as someone who is a big fan of Disney and loves the music associated with Disney, I have seen so few Disney films. And so one of those is Encanto. At least I'm pretty sure that's a Disney film. And I've never seen it, but I love the music. So we're going to feature a medley from that this week. Lin-Manuel Miranda, of course. So that will be excellent. And then, as promised, a few pieces from the IBA concert. We've got the old boatman from Florence Price, who was known primarily for being one of the first African-American women in the United States to have her full symphony orchestra works performed. And there's a lovely arrangement that someone did a few years ago of one of her pieces called The Old Boatman for band, which is just beautiful. So people are going to love that. Featuring Leroy Anderson's Clarinet Candy to give our clarinet section a workout. And then the overture from Candide by Leonard Bernstein, which we used to open our IBA concert.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an action-packed first week.
Action-packed. And Semper Fidelis from John Philip Sousa, which we haven't played in like 10 years. So if you want some Marine Corps in your life, we got that this week as well.
And this sounds like a 2.5-hour program, but it's not. It's under all your programs are under an hour.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, that is something I'm very proud of. We are done in under an hour. And for those of you who haven't checked us out before, it is very family friendly. You can bring kids if you want to. We're playing Encanto. I think that'll be the third piece. So if you just want to bring the kids, have a snack, hear the Disney music, leave in the middle. No one's going to turn up their nose at you. Bring some snacks. If your kids are talking or dancing or singing along, like I love that. I welcome that. So yes, but if you do decide to stay for the whole thing, you'll be out of there by 8:30. I promise.
All right. Well, it's the first week of the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band. People can go online and also on social media if they want to find out any more details, or if the weather looks threatening and you're wondering if the concert's still on, correct?
Yeah, crminiband.org for the website, and probably Facebook is the quickest, most recent, up-to-date information for all of that.
All right. We'll come back next week and we'll find out about week 2.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Steve. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30 or download the podcast. Listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on Facebook or YouTube. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.